back to Q&A Anime. You're here with Kadir and Akil, and today we're discussing One Piece chapter 1041.
Yes, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications and updates. Let's get into it.
Alright, so in the last chapter we saw that Big Mom was finally defeated. A big win for the pirate side.
Well, they're all pirates, but
the Pirate Alliance.
Yeah,
rather.
the Pirate Alliance.
The Pirate Samurai Alliance.
Yeah, Pirate Samurai Minx. Yeah, they finally took down an emperor. It showed how much effort is required to defeat an emperor, because Law and Kid threw everything they had at Big Mom multiple times, and she still refused to go down.
Yeah. But listen, and you know she's not done, which just means the next time that they fight her, it's gonna be that much harder, because I'm sure she's not gonna go. She's gonna work even harder to make sure that she doesn't go down like that ever again.
Right? I do not want to see what happens when Big Mom comes back. I'd hate to be in their shoes.
And remember how mad she was after the newspaper came out when Luffy escaped her territory after Whole Cake, and she was mad the newspaper talked about how Luffy had won against her.
Yeah, and she said that wasn't true. So imagine the paper with this.
Yeah, you know, I'm waiting for her reaction to this. You know, big news. Morgan gonna let everyone know.
He's gonna go missing. Big Mom's not gonna like that news article. And then after that conclusion, we finally got to talk more about Zunisha and how they are ready to fight by Momonosuke's side.
Yeah, I'm excited to see in terms what Momo's gonna do with that. I guess, like, what would he end up instructing Zunisha to do to help them in this battle? Will he ask for help pulling the Flower Capital, pulling them away from the Flower Capital? Will he end up asking him for help against Kaido? Maybe stopping more Marines who are on the way?
So what I think is going to happen is I think that Momo's going to instruct Zunisha to gather up the remaining citizens that are on the Flower Capital and move them on to Zou.
Oh, that would actually be really smart.
Yeah, because I don't think he's going to be able to stop the island. And what I think is going to happen is that Luffy is going to defeat Kaido, and the island is going to crash down with Kaido on it and then explode. So Kaido would be like done in a way, and then Luffy would hop on the back of Momo and they'd fly to Zou together.
Okay.
That's kind of like a long shot theory, but that's my prediction. You heard it here first.
I was gonna say, yeah, if it ends up coming true, we'll know. We'll have the evidence to prove it.
Yeah.
But
next we can talk about what Yamato said to Momonosuke.
Yeah, about him being the one who will guide the world to the dawn.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack there. What do you think that means, Akil?
I think it definitely has to tie into the prophecy that his mom made back before she sent all of them to the future and talked about how the scabbards would end up bringing would bring a new dawn to Wano.
Oh yeah, that's got to be it then, because I think that he's going to be the one that unlocks Wano's borders, and that of course would be the new dawn. And then it kind of goes back to, you remember, what's his name? Basil Hawkins, the dude that made the prediction with the tower card, and the tower signifying change or a shift in power or something along those lines. I definitely think that it has to do with everything that's currently taking place on Wano. Whether it whether that only pertains to Momonosuke, or whether that pertains to Momonosuke and, you know, Big Mom, or not Big Mom, Luffy, Law, Kid, whether it pertains to all of them as well is still up for interpretation. And then the next thing Momonosuke says is that it's important he doesn't die, but that the most crucial pages of his father's journal have been torn out. So
I remember he said that it had to do with what they found on Laugh Tale, as well as a couple other things. And so I'm wondering if maybe it was Odin who tore it out, more along the lines of how Roger didn't want anyone to know, that he wanted it to be a surprise they would find out when they got there.
Yeah.
So maybe Odin wanted to like honor Roger's wishes, especially after Roger died.
Yeah.
And so he might have tore them out as a way to ensure that his will was carried out.
Yeah, I could see that. I was wondering if it was Odin that ripped them out or if it was Roger that ripped them out. Because I could see Roger ripping them out as well, you know?
Yeah, I can actually see either of those.
I wonder if it would have led to some kind of like altercation between Odin and Roger when, if it was Roger that tore them out. But we all know Roger would have won in a fight between them, so.
I was gonna say, yes, we do know that.
Yes. So, Raizo has finally come out on top. He has confirmed victory over Fukuro Kujo, and Jinbei stumbles upon him by accident, and then Raizo says something about, like, preparations being ready?
Yes, and I'm not sure what that could be referring to, because I'm at a loss, honestly. Is it something he's been preparing secretly on his own? Is it something that they had included in the plan from the beginning, and now we're gonna see their end game, their big plan, you know, to kind of turn things even more in their favor?
Yeah, I'm wondering if we missed some kind of detail in the plan or it just hasn't been revealed yet.
I'm thinking it hasn't been revealed yet, because I feel as though I definitely remember what they've told us so much about the plans, and so
we're still just gonna have to wait and see what Oda has in store for us then.
Yeah.
All right, well...
And then, can we talk about Rochi and Koromasaki, though?
Yes, I was about to jump into that plot point as well. Go ahead and take it away, Akil.
Yeah, so for a while now, we had seen that Koromasaki had been keeping Orochi busy by playing him music while he was waiting for Fukurokoju. And I was waiting. I wasn't sure what her plan was, but I knew that at the very least, Hiyori wanted to get revenge for her father more than anything else. She had been suffering and enduring with everything up to this point, solely so that, because she knew the day would come when she would be able to get her revenge. And just now, like, she was playing music so calmly, and as the building fell on top of Orochi, and then he's struggling to turn into his monster form, and then she just reveals, she's like, yeah, you weren't paying attention, you never would have noticed, but I used a sea stone nail to make sure you couldn't transform, and she's like, you're gonna die here. And he was so shocked, he's like, I thought you loved me, like, what happened? You were supposed to be my wife or whatever. And she says, like, she doesn't have a shred of affection for him in her heart.
Yes, I think it's poetic justice, because just like he's powerless to save himself now, it's kind of like how she was powerless to save her father when he was being boiled alive. So it's revenge, you know what they say, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Yes, and cold this dish is.
Yes.
But it's very satisfying. I'm hoping that since the sea stone nail is preventing him from using his powers, any extra lives that he might have had at this moment, he can't even use. So it truly will be the end of Orochi, because I cannot tell you how tired I am of seeing this man get what's coming to him and then pop back up, and a couple panels later, perfectly fine because of his stuff.
Oh my gosh. And then the final remarks that she had to say as well about the song that she was playing.
Yes.
And how that was Odin's favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to say her final words to Orochi, Akil?
Yeah, there isn't a shred of affection for you in my heart. Like, that line, just like, especially because she didn't even bother to take off the mask, you know? I was just wondering, like, what kind of face she must have been making under there. Was it one that was satisfied? Was she furious? Maybe she looked sad more than anything because, like, she's just so overwhelmed with emotion at finally being able to get her revenge.
Yes.
But
that's what I'm guessing is underneath the mask. I think she's very distraught with, well, not distraught, but there's a kind of, like, emotional reaction, I think, when she's finally, like, avenged the man who, well, avenged her father and got revenge for the man that kind of took her whole life away, you know? Or at least an important part of her life. So after that scene finally taking place, we finally go back to Izo versus the CP0 agents. And it seems like Izo took out one of the agents, but one still remains.
Yeah, and definitely, if it was only a 1v1, Izo might have been able to truly stop them before they could get Nico Robin. Or at this point, since they got the new order from the Five Elders, could have stopped them from killing Straw Hat Luffy.
Yeah, not that I think that they could take out Luffy anyway, but what do you think?
Normally, I'm not sure if they could, but as of right now, he's been fighting Kaido for the most of the night. I'm sure he's going to be exhausted by the time it's done. It would be very easy to just pick him off after he's exhausted all his strength.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to picture how Luffy would make a comeback after having fought that hard for so long. And then I guess we could talk about the order that the CP0 agent got. So, as Akil said, he got the order to eliminate Straw Hat Luffy, and how the devil fruit with the hidden history is most likely the Gamu Gamu no Mi. I think you made that point, Akil. You want to go into that?
Yeah, because I remember several chapters ago, the elders were talking about how the truth behind the devil fruit had been hidden because of its power, and how if people knew the truth, it could have caused a big uproar and upheaval throughout the islands across the planet. And so it just, at that point, we were speculating on what it was. I know that like some of us thought it was Luffy, but sometimes we had some other speculations as to what it could have been. But now that they've given this order, I think that kind of confirms it and setting it in stone that the one with the hidden history that is probably much more powerful than we've ever realized before is the Gomu Gomu no Mi.
And, with that hidden history, that would, again, mean that the Gamu Gamu no Mi isn't the name that we thought it was, but it's actually something else. Do you remember that?
And I was trying to think about it in terms of what we've seen of what the power does. And I was wondering if maybe it's not like it allows you to like turn into rubber, but more that its power is like the ability to stretch. Because remember the slip fruit, which its power was to slip? It like took it in a literal sense, like it made everything slip off. It made the fat slip off Alvida. It makes attack slip off her. And I was wondering if maybe the power of like the Gomu Gomu no Mi's true power is like to stretch, in the sense that Luffy can stretch his limits, and he can stretch the amount of power that he has, and he can stretch in like almost a very like abstract sense of the word.
Yeah, maybe he could stretch his own life force to be infinite or something. That would be insane.
Yeah, and so I was just wondering if like, because in terms of why they're so scared of it, I'm like, okay, so they're trying to cover up what it really does. And so I was just doing a little brainstorm trying to figure out like what exactly it could be, the real power behind it that they're so afraid of.
Yes, and I'd love to go into that deeper, but we've got a few other plot points we want to hit first. So the panel where it zooms into X Drake saying, "I can't die with nothing to show for it," makes me think he's gonna fight the remaining CP0 agent.
Yes, because honestly, ever since he made his alliance with Luffy, where he busted through and they hit the giants together, he's been kind of getting disrespected. Like, I don't know, like he swaps to their side, and all we've seen is him kind of getting like his ass handed to him by like everybody.
Yeah, he's been off screen.
I'm really hoping. What was that?
I was saying he's been off screen before, which is the highest form of disrespect in an anime.
They decided they couldn't even like waste time showing you getting kicked.
Yeah,
so
getting your butt handed to you. And so we go to the next part where it seems like people are finally escaping the island since the battles are drawing to a close. So you see Usopp riding Hamlet with Kiku and Kinemon. And then you see Frankie finally caught Zoro from falling.
Yes, honestly, a good catch, because I was worried. I was like, if Zoro ends up making this fall and no one comes to save him, I was wondering if maybe it really was the end. If that was the way that Oda ended up killing off Zoro, I would have been so shocked, you know?
Yeah, and not to mention that in the last chapter, we see that Zoro was face to face with that Grim Reaper, who we still don't know who it was.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see who that was and what Zoro's fate, what hangs in the balance for Zoro. and Frankie kind of tried talking to Zoro, but it seems like he was unresponsive.
Yeah, he was crying out to him. He's like, you ain't dead, are you?
Yeah.
Just trying to get any kind of like, even like a grunt of any kind of movement, just to see that. And you could see on his face that he was crying out like very passionately, like he's worried about his fellow crewmate.
Yeah, very, very worried. And so moving on from there, we have the Law and Kid victory party. So Law and Kid are, done for. They're on their backs, and Law's like he doesn't have any energy left to fight Kaido.
Yeah. And because Kid was talking about whether or not they need to get up there and do something.
Yeah.
And Law was like, he's like, I have nothing left. He's like, even if the man who emerges from that fight turns out to be Kaido, then I don't have the willpower left to resist.
Yes. So you know what that means. If Luffy doesn't win, Kaido's gonna come down, break them apart, and then it'll be a Yonko victory, which would be cold considering everything they went through. And then,
speaking of Kaido
continue.
versus Luffy, it's definitely picking up. We're about to hit the climax of that fight. Yes. Kaido could sense that Big Mom had lost and started having flashbacks about all their history together and when they first met.
Yes. Kaido was in tears and Luffy was like, stop crying, get these hands, hit him with the Snake Man.
He said, I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think what's interesting about this form is that this was the last form that he brought out against Katakuri. And Katakuri, prior to Kaido, was Luffy's hardest opponent ever. And he managed to come out on top. So, given what Luffy knows now, I'm wondering if Snake Man has reached another form and it'll be able to take down Kaido.
I was gonna say, it seemed as though Kaido was struggling to figure out where the punches were coming from, you know?
Yeah.
Because not only are they so fast, but because of how Snake Man like changes the angles so many times, it becomes hard to figure out where exactly it's gonna be hitting you from.
Yeah, it was ridiculous seeing it against Katakuri, and it's even more ridiculous now seeing it against Kaido because he doesn't have Katakuri's foresight, nor does he have the ability to dodge like Katakuri could. So these hits are just pounding down into Kaido.
Yeah, hitting him with the gum Hydra, you know? Yeah,
that was such a cool attack. I think that's one of my favorite Luffy attacks behind Fireworks and the Gomu Gomu no King Kong gun. You know, the attack that took down Doflamingo.
When I was looking at the panel of it was incredible just to look at.
Yeah, my favorite panel was when Luffy finally like transformed into Snake Man. It kind of looked like he was transforming into something else. For a second there. I
thought we were gonna see a Gear 5th or a new Gear 4th form. But it was just like that. I know which panel you're talking about, where like he's kind of like fading, like right before he moves really quickly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking back because when I saw that and I thought it was a new Gear 5th, I was remembering how Hyogoro, when he saw Luffy use like his Gear 4th before, he mentioned about how Luffy looked like a guardian deity. And I know that Yamato is also, her fruit is like based on like the guardian deity. It's supposed to be the guardian deity of Wano or something.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if maybe there was a connection there in terms of the fact that like both of them are supposed to be like guardian deities and they're working so hard to free Wano once and for all.
What guardian deity do you think Luffy would be?
I'm not sure. I want to say honestly, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, we have to look at which deities are represented on Wano to know for sure. And so I guess that leaves that topic for maybe next video. They'll go into that.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So the last thing that Luffy says is, "I'm gonna drive you out of Wano if it's the last thing I do." And so that makes me wonder if that's the final attack from Luffy. Seems like he's really putting it out on the line.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when Luffy tends to say things like that, that's when he really starts putting in like the last of his energy and giving it his all in like a final fight in order to really try to overpower his opponent. So I do think that from this point on in their fight, he's going to be putting everything he has behind every single attack to try to finally put down Kaido.
Yeah,
my main thing is,
no, continue.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not sure whether or not it'll be enough. Like, this is Kaido.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I love Luffy and I understand he's grown and learned new things, this is Kaido. The man jumped off of Skypiea, hit the ground, and then complained about how he had a headache and how he wished he died. Like, yeah. I just don't know whether anything can really take this man down.
Yeah, but if anybody can do it, it's our boy Luffy. And so we're just going to have to wait and see what Oda has in store for us. And with that, I think that ends our review of chapter 1041. It's been such a good chapter, I think. I can't wait to see if the next chapter starts out with Luffy versus Kaido. And again, I just want to see what Oda has in store for us in terms of Luffy's ability to finally take down the most powerful creature on Earth. Yeah,
and listen, if he does, the amount of hype behind his name is going to skyrocket. Like, he was already being considered the 5th Yonko prior to this interaction.
Yes.
And so if he can manage to knock Kaido off of his throne,
we should do
Luffy. I can already imagine the headlines, like, is Straw Hat Luffy truly the next Pirate King, you know?
Yeah. And imagine his bounty after, how high it would become.
Oh, yeah.
It would definitely be.
Because right now he's at 1.5 billion, right?
Yeah, I would think it would like double at least.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 billion seems like it would definitely be fair for being able to take out Kaido.
Yeah, and then he gets even closer to being the Pirate King. They would add like another couple billion on top of that. Might be approaching 5 billion territory.
I was gonna say, if he ends up becoming Pirate King, on top of the fact that he apparently has a devil fruit that they're so afraid of, I could see his bounty being insanely high. Like, yes. Surpassing, because as we know, I'm pretty sure they stated that like Gold Roger's bounty was like the highest bounty ever recorded, right?
Yes, it was.
And so I could definitely see Luffy's like surpassing that at some point, especially given how scared they are of his potential with this devil fruit.
Yes. So I guess with that, we're gonna have to end it here and leave the hype train for next week. So
yes,
we'll make another stop on the hype train when chapter 1042 comes out, and we'll see you guys then.
Q&A out.
Q&A out.